So in the studio today, I have an instant contender for wildest sneaker of the year. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm reviewing the upcoming J Balvin Air Jordan 1s. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, and also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at @RealSethFowler. Not only that, if you haven't entered the Xbox Series X giveaway that I'm running, make sure to check out all the information on how to enter and the links that you need in the description below. But today we've got one of the craziest sneakers I think I've ever reviewed, and I've reviewed hundreds of sneakers at this point, maybe even thousands, and this is by far one of the craziest. If you're looking to grab the J Balvin Air Jordan 1s and just destroy any chance you ever had of matching your sneaker collection to your actual wardrobe, then you can pick up this shoe on December 8th for a retail price of $190. So I was reading a little bit about this collaboration and J Balvin's inspiration behind this shoe, and apparently the idea was that he wanted to create something that emulated his personality and just his explosive creativity. He also said that he wanted to be the first person that really dared to change the Air Jordan 1 and go all out and do something that no one's ever done before. And I mean, yeah, he definitely did it. He did exactly what he set out to do, and for that, I've got to give him props. But I know for a fact this is not something that I could pull off. I'm not as ballsy, I'm not as out there, and I definitely don't have the style sense to find a way to actually rock this sneaker and make it look decent on my feet. And you know what? I'm fine with that. If I can't wear a crazy sneaker that looks like an explosion on my feet, that's not a problem. I actually saw an article somewhere, I think it was Complex, that ranked this the ugliest Air Jordan sneaker of the entire year. And you know what? I don't think that's fair. As much as I don't personally vibe with the aesthetic of this sneaker, I think the overall sneaker itself and the collaboration actually has a lot going for it and really makes it a special sneaker overall. But before we get into that, let's take a really quick look at the box. Let me grab the box also because I apparently left it in my office. Give me a second. So while you might think that J Balvin spent all his creative energy on the actual sneaker design himself, you would be wrong because if you look at the box, it's also kind of nuts. This Air Jordan 1 box comes in your standard black semi-gloss finish. However, instead of having the red logo on top, you've got this crazy rainbow logo. On the sides of the box, you've got more Nike logos, which look white at first, but if you really look at them, I think they could also be pink, which is interesting because the upper of the shoe comes in this crazy rainbow color shown on the top of the box, and then the midsole and outsole of the shoe comes in a very similar tone of pink. So I'm thinking maybe that's what's going on with the design of the box. Not 100% sure, but that would be my guess. I actually grabbed this pair from Stadium Goods. Shout out to Stadium Goods, by the way, for shipping this to me overnight so I could do this review. I did pay a lot of money for this sneaker, and unfortunately, it looks like the resale prices of this shoe are going down pretty dramatically because I think once a sneaker actually comes out, no one's really gonna want it, to be completely honest with you, but I could be completely wrong about that, and they could jump back up. I have no idea. Inside the box, J Balvin's added some more signature touches with his J Balvin logo and a yellow circle. You've got the Jumpman logo, a lightning bolt, and a basketball for some reason, probably because this is a basketball sneaker. But that's pretty much all you get inside the box. Now let's get back into the sneaker. Actually, you know what I just realized? I don't think I explained who J Balvin was if you don't know who J Balvin is. J Balvin is a Colombian reggaeton superstar, and you've definitely heard some of his music on the radio even if you didn't realize you were listening to J Balvin. And actually, one of the coolest things about this collaboration is that J Balvin is the first ever Latin artist to actually collaborate with Jordan Brand on a sneaker. So this sneaker is literally pushing the boundaries of both collaborations and also just design. You may actually remember this shoe being debuted on J Balvin's feet during the Super Bowl halftime show, which arguably is one of the only times it's actually appropriate to wear this sneaker. I'm seriously not hating on this sneaker. It's a good shoe, it's just not for me. It's not. I can't rock it. But jumping into the actual sneaker itself, you find some of the most interesting details on an Air Jordan 1 in a really long time. A majority of the upper of this shoe is made up of printed canvas, which is honestly one of the only materials they could have printed a design like this on. While I'm not usually a huge fan of canvas on more premium sneakers, I've got to be honest, it does give this shoe a very unique look and a nice texture. Around the edges of the canvas on the mudguard, you've got this very interesting serrated detail, which according to J Balvin is supposed to add to the cloud-like explosion that he's going for. I literally have no idea what he's talking about, but hey, it's different, and I like different. One of the most interesting and eye-catching details of the shoe is the printed pattern on the canvas upper. This rainbow gradient, or energy explosion as J Balvin likes to call it, fades from red in the center of the midfoot towards yellow, then to green, and then blue towards the toe and the heel of the sneaker. According to J Balvin, the reason that the red is in the center of the shoe is because that's the source of the energy, and that's where the cloud-like explosion starts. Again, I'm not 100% sure what that means, but hey, you know what? I'm just gonna roll with it. Continuing up on the shoe, you've got some more jagged edges around the canvas overlays, and then towards the bottom of the tongue, you've got some black flat laces weaving through the eyelids. Now, if you decide you don't like these black laces for some reason, J Balvin and Jordan Brand made sure that you had no shortage of options inside the box because they gave you some neon green laces, some pink laces, and some white laces. It kind of feels like overkill, but let's be honest, what about this shoe isn't overkill? Underneath the laces, you've got a very light pink, almost white nylon tongue, and the nylon, of course, has serrated edges to it, and around the edges of the tongue, you've actually got a bunch of exposed foam. And this tongue is definitely a bit more thick than a standard Air Jordan 1 tongue, which I'm not against. At the top of the tongue, you've got a gradient canvas tag with J Balvin's logo on the left shoe and the Jumpman on the right shoe. And actually, if you look at the back of the tongue on either shoe, it's the opposite logo of what was shown on the front of the tag, if that makes sense. There's definitely a better way to say that, but I just couldn't think of it. The sock liner of the shoe comes in this black, almost satin-like material, which feels really nice to the touch and also pretty nice against your foot. Then rounding off the inside of the shoe, the insole comes in bright neon green with J Balvin's logo printed on the heel. As for sizing and fit, the J Balvin Air Jordan 1s do seem to fit like every other pair of Air Jordan 1s. For me, that's true to size. However, for you, it might be something different. So if you've never worn a pair of Jordan 1s before, I definitely suggest going down to your local Foot Locker and trying on any colorway of Jordan 1s if they have them available. It's really hard to find Jordans right now, and make sure that you're buying the right size for you. If there literally aren't any Jordan 1s to try on, which I think might be a possibility, you should be fine going true to size. Continuing back in the shoe to the midfoot, you get to another very unique detail, and that's this Nike swoosh that comes in a gradient canvas. The gradient on the Nike swoosh actually runs sort of in the opposite direction as the gradient on the rest of the shoe. It starts in blue towards the center of the sneaker and fades out to red, which I think was probably a good choice because it makes it stand out a little bit more on a shoe that already stands out. And then another detail to make this Nike swoosh stand out, you've got this black tumbled leather panel underneath the Nike swoosh that has these very jagged edges that, again, I guess is supposed to emulate an explosion or something like that, and it definitely makes the Nike swoosh sort of stand off the midfoot a lot better than it would if it was just the canvas. I'm gonna be honest, that's definitely a out there detail, but I actually don't hate it. Moving a little bit farther back in the shoe towards the top of the ankle, you've got more of this canvas paneling that actually has not so much a serrated edge as a very cloud-like rounded edge, which I guess is what he meant by the cloud-like explosion, I guess. What's interesting about this panel is that even though the shoe still has the black Wings logo on the lateral side, the Wings logo is actually slightly adjusted and has a circular emblem with the Jumpman in the center of it rather than the standard Wings logo. I actually didn't even realize that that detail was different until right now. Underneath the canvas towards the top of the ankle, you've got some very glossy tumbled black leather, which I actually don't hate. Then moving down on the shoe, you've got your heel counter, which of course also comes in canvas and of course also has serrated edges. Now the one detail that's a little bit different on this heel counter is that on the lateral side, you've actually got a Velcro patch, which you can remove and switch out with other Velcro patches. Of course, there are a couple different options. The one that came on the left shoe was a yellow and pink Jumpman logo. The one that came on the right shoe was the J Balvin logo. And then they also give you a nice little baggie with a couple extra patches, which look like basketballs and pink lightning bolts. Then moving down on the shoe, you get to the one color midsole and outsole, which comes in a very light shade of pink, which is also the same shade of pink that's on the tongue of the shoe. Again, it's another one of those details that just got totally eclipsed by the rest of the sneaker, and I didn't even notice it was different until I actually had these sneakers in hand. Overall, the J Balvin Air Jordan 1s are absolutely the most unique Air Jordan 1 to release this year and possibly ever. This absolutely insane fever dream colorway is definitely not for me, but it's not a bad colorway overall, and I love the fact that J Balvin is creating really unique collaborations. No, I don't think this is going to be one of the most sought after Air Jordan 1s in years to come. I think, yes, it is hyped up now because that's when it's actually releasing, but if you love this shoe, I say go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good looking sneaker. It's definitely eye-catching, and if you have some affinity to J Balvin or you love what he stands for, this is a great shoe that you should definitely pick up. But now I would love to know your thoughts on the J Balvin Air Jordan 1s and whether it's a shoe that you're trying to grab for yourself or whether you're going to let this shoe go. So make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.